You see, when people say that we cannot change things, there are two aspects to it. There are those who are indifferent and therefore will not do anything. There are those who think, well, I care about what happens, but really, will anything change? And unlike the gentleman that spoke last, if we say we cannot change things, or as Dr. Agbolu said, we need billions of naira to change things, then what is happening will continue to happen. Tunisia was changed by one young man setting himself ablaze. He really didn't think anything would come out of it. But that act of personal frustration to the point where he set himself ablaze kindled the conscience of the society, and they revolted. I'm not looking for a revolution. I'm not advocating a revolution. But I think that we need to look at things a little bit more seriously. We live in a society, we can affect that society. We can change that society. It depends on the level of commitment and the sacrifice we are willing to make to change that society. And it may not take much, because it goes from the top to the bottom. And it gets to the bottom because everybody looks up and they see that the next level lives on illegitimate income and gets away with it. So each level continues to wallow in corruption. And I'll tell you what, Abiola's wife ran for election in 1979. Simbiat Abiola. In those days, you deposit money. If you don't get 10% of the vote, you lose your deposit. If you get 10%, they get your money refunded back to you, just to discourage frivolous candidacy. She lost her deposit. In an election in which they probably spent 100 times more than their opponent. They distributed bicycles. They distributed motorcycles. You're talking rice. We're not talking rice, We're not talking rice in those days. At least for that senatorial seat. When they asked the people, why didn't you vote for Simbiat? They said, next time, we will be the ones giving out bicycles. The people saw themselves as more than what the politicians took them for. They had pride in themselves. And they knew that they didn't need to sell their vote. Because they know that, for every naira they collect, the politician will collect 1,000 naira from them in what the society and government should do for them. That is where we need to return the society. The mass of our people must be educated. They must come to recognize that listening and taking money from politicians, or rather taking money from politicians, is really sending your children into penury. It is destroying the future of your children. It is destroying the future of the society. We must set up in the society a new paradigm for leaders. There should be no question of any leader who wants to serve the public to keep an account abroad. There should be no room for any leader that wants to serve the public to have an asset abroad. If you want to lead this society, let us all put our eggs in this basket. You cannot be tendering a basket when your own eggs are somewhere else. That, I think, are the issues that we need to address as a society. And we do need a platform to do it. I mean, ÓṢEÉÉÉ is a good project, but to me, it will remain an academic exercise until it is grounded in a political platform that can implement it. A political platform that can implement it is not a platform that is based on one man. It is a political platform that is owned by the masses. And that is what, and that is where I think the society needs to go. The time could not be riper than now. We have seen looting at its worst. Huh? And I don't know. They call some animal carnivores. They call some animals omnivores. I don't know what they call the Nigerians. Some omnivores. Well, so I think we need to exterminate all monivores. We need leaders that really can sacrifice. ÓΣEÉÉÉ to me represents an effort to capture the old days of vision, intellect, and commitment. We didn't have, look, for those who lived through the days of Action Group, I was too young to really say I was a participant, but I've read a lot about the period. And you cannot but lament what happened to the society. Because the other day I was reading something about an interview about Professor Aluko, and he wrote about how they used to debate with Awolowo, how Awolowo had this intellectual group, who were putting things to him. When Awolowo spoke in 1981 and said that the ship of state was approaching a wreck or some precipice, and if something is not done, a shipwreck was. I mean, look, it wasn't just Awolowo. Awolowo was being fed by people of intellect who could see what was happening, but they knew that Awolowo was a man of courage, of conviction, and of course of stature that could bring that message to the country. But Shagari was too stupid to listen. Instead, they started abusing him. And on the eve of Buhari taking over in 1983, December 31, 1983, we were actually at the doorsteps of IMF. But if we had listened from 1981, by 1983, we probably would have averted a lot of things. Instead of sitting down with the man and saying, okay, fine, chief, what do you suggest? This is Nigeria, not MPN. Let's talk Nigeria. But you see, we don't have politicians of that caliber. We don't have politicians that think about Nigeria, but they think only about themselves and their groups. Now, we need a new movement, obviously. For me, I supported Buhari. I didn't support Buhari by mouth. I supported him in 81. I supported him in 91, right? And I supported, 2001, I think, and then 2005. But today, I have seen him in office. He does not represent the fight against corruption.
Thank you for this.
In 2001 and 2005, we believed the myth we believe the myth. No, because when he came in '84, he did a few things that made us believe that maybe he will be intolerant of corruption. Now, let's leave that. Let's leave that aside. You know, if you want a debate on that, I'm willing to take you on, because the PDP apologists, you know, are always quick to say, look, you know, you people supported Buhari, supported, took us down this path. They were no better. I mean, so now that our eyes are clear, all the cataracts that we had, all the shades have been removed. We now can see clearly between PDP and APC. I mean, the P between them is the same thing. You know, power corrupts absolutely. They represent no good for Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned. We need to search for new leaders that are committed, new leaders that are willing to marry their commitment to their intellect. Because the business of governance is not for the indolent, and it is not for the clueless. If you are clueless, you will allow little girls, small ladies, you know, to steal your wealth away, to steal the nation's wealth away, to gamble with their boyfriends, the nation's resource. So for those who want to engage me on why some people supported Buhari or not, I'm just giving you hints that you better be ready with your facts, because I have my facts too. I mean, Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, not the most, not necessarily an incorrupt person himself, but at least he gave indications as to what was happening. And for anybody who cares, go and read the Pricewaterhouse report. Go and read the Pricewaterhouse report on the missing $20 billion. Pricewaterhouse did not say the money was missing, but there are enough indications in the report. You read between the lines. The drafts they gave them, they disclosed the gap that was there. So go and read the report, you know. But let's not derail. Let's focus on ÓШEÉÉÉ. ÓШEÉÉÉ is a message of hope. Forget the meaning, Ogun State Economic Enablement and Social Emancipation Project. Yes, that is what it is meant to do. But the acronym also sends a message, and it's a message of hope. ÓШEÉÉÉ. So if it is possible, then we should work and do it. To work and do it, I've told my Aburo that, look, it needs a political platform to do it. But more than that, this project would have been ideal if it was a project of the political platform, owned by everybody, can be embraced by everybody. It can be placed in the social space as a project of a political platform, and we can go forward with it to implement it as such, because we do need an alternative to the narratives that are out there on the streets. Those narratives mean no well for Nigeria. They mean no good for the people. You talk about, you know, schools being poetry houses. Well, frankly, I've seen some of those pictures. I went to school in Sagamu here, Remo Secondary School. My class built a block of 6 classrooms, because I think when we were about 30 years, 40 years or so, since when we left secondary school. And the reason why we did that was we went to the school, the classroom that we sat in, taking 30 students per class, was then taking about 80 students per class. So we thought, okay, look, let us help them decongest the classes. What did the government do? They just sent more students to the school. So nothing changed. So as all students, we then decided that, okay, since we cannot reduce the number of classes and improve learning environment for students, let us start building what do you call it? The teachers' quarters, so that teachers can stay on campus. If they don't have to be going up and down, maybe they'll devote more time to help the students. You know, that hasn't worked neither, because the teachers themselves are totally disillusioned. At one time, you had PTA teachers paid for by PTA in the ratio of 2-to-1 in the school. In other words, for every teacher paid by government, the PTA had to pay for 2. So when they said PTA levies are increasing, you must know why. Because the government effort also is receding. I mean, the point is, we can do self-help, but you should change the government. And no politician will listen to you unless they know you can vote them out. So, and you cannot vote them out if you do not organize. So you must organize. You must educate the people. When you educate the people and they know that their rights won't work, then they'll start taking you seriously. Thank you very much.